All right, Shalom. All right, to start this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah Gudash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. This is Ratazah from the Great Millstone Atlanta camp. Once again, just want to hit this article, of course, dealing with biblical prophecy. As you know that we're in the year of prophecy 2020, and now we're in the month of February, which today is February 12th. And as we always say, the prophecies are popping like popcorn, man. Left and right, day in and day out. When you look at the news, it's all sorts of events that you can link back to biblical prophecy happening in the earth. Case in point, this Locust, man. Now this article I have from, as you can see at the top, NDTV. It says India faces twin invasion of locusts from Iran, Africa, World Agriculture Body. So this locust, as you can see, they have a picture here of locusts. Locust is taking over, man. Taking over Africa, in particular, I believe. I want to say East Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Is eating the crops. The people over there in danger of a famine, dying of starvation, and now the locust is migrating to what it said India and I believe Pakistan as well, man. So this is the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah coming to pass, and it's jacking these nations up, man. You notice a lot of these things that's occurring, judgment-wise and prophecy-wise, is affecting these nations, these heathen nations. Like look at Moab, who's the so-called Chinese. They getting plagued with that coronavirus. The Africans, who are the Hamites, they getting plagued with the locusts. Now it's migrating over to Elam, over there in India and Pakistan, man. Now I'm gonna read the key points right here, or the highlights. It says, world facing worse locust infestation, Food and Agriculture Organization. Millions of people can be at risk of starvation, World Agricultural Body. World Agricultural Body, UN, have sought $70 million to fight locust menace, Yeah, and the locust is going to continue. It's going to intensify. Everything is heating up, man. The various forms of judgment that the Most High is bringing down. As you can see, they said, this is the world is facing the worst infestation ever, man. Okay? Now, when you skip down, it says, let me see, we read that part. This is a highlight. It says, let me read this one part right here. Okay? It says, in South Asia, Mr. Cressman said this year, there is a very acute danger of the locust for the first time in a long time to migrate in great numbers from the Horn of Africa at the beginning of the monsoon rainy season in India and Pakistan, you see. So not only Africa is getting plagued by locusts, but you got India and Pakistan as well. That's coming up next on the radar, man. It says, after a recent visit to India to survey the situation, he said that he felt that India was ready to meet the challenge because they met the challenge last summer very well, but they also learned very many lessons from 6 months of control operations, and now they're applying these lessons. Now you say that, but hey, ultimately what the Most High is increasing things, man. Esau thought he was prepared for certain things. The other nations thought they was prepared for certain things to come down until the Most High brings something greater. The Most High intensifies this thing. And that's what's going to happen from here on out, man. Judgment is going forth, as the scriptures say, and prophecy is being fulfilled, man. Now, let's read this part. It says, there is a potential risk that the swarms can move from the Horn of Africa starting in mid-May until about sometime in July to meet those monsoon rains that arrive in Rajasthan in India and Cholistan Tharparka in Pakistan, he said. And that's another thing, man. These nations getting hit with typhoons, monsoons. Got the hurricanes over here in the so-called Americas. You got the earthquakes. And who's bringing these things, man? The Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh. He's bringing these things down on the earth, man, as a form of punishment and judgment. It says, adding to that risk is the early breeding of locusts in southern Iran because of warmer weather and good rains, which could result in a repeat of the invasion from that area to the border areas of India and Pakistan that happened last year, uh, I said, or A, however you pronounce it. It says heavy rains and cyclones have set off a major resurgence in the population of locusts in the Horn of Africa, according to the FAO. So the Most High is bringing these swarms, man, swarms of these locusts. Now, what comes to mind is the curses in Deuteronomy 20th chapter, which we know this applies to the nation of Israel, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. And these are the curses that were before our people if we disobeyed the Most High's commandments. Now I'm going to read this. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 38. It says, "Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locusts shall consume it." Now this is a curse that befell the nation of Israel. All right, which again is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. But guess what? These curses, as we're going to read in the next verse, in the 30th chapter, was going to what? Before our enemies, man. Which the Hamites, which is the so-called Africans. All right, Pakistan, India, which is Elam. All right, you got Ishmael mixed in there as well. All right, now they're feeling those curses now. You know, the locust is eating their crops. Now, when you jump down to verse 42, it says, "All thy trees and fruit of thy land, all right, shall the locust consume." And that's why you read that article. It says what? They're in danger of dying of starvation. Now, and 7. "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." You see, and who's our enemies? All right, the other nations, man, the heathen nations. Those are the enemies of the nation of Israel, of our people. And the Lord said that He would put the curses that were before us. He would take them and put them on our enemies, man. And one example of that is the locusts. That's what? Consuming their crops. Verse 8, "And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day." All right, so now let's jump to what's that? Lamentations, the 4th chapter, because it spoke about the starvation, and that's probably the worst way to die, man, is where your body literally eats itself. You know, and that's what's coming in these last days. And I'm talking about to the shores of America. It's going to be a very strict famine, man. And also, of course, a famine of the word, because the prophets are not going to be out in the street corners anymore. But it's literally going to be a famine, man. It's going to be a food shortage. All right, now check this out. Lamentations 4 and 9. "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger." You see? So just getting destroyed by the sword, which today will be a modern day gun, your different weapons, or a literal sword. You know, whether you get you get chopped up, you get stabbed to death. It's better to go out that way, all right, or to die in that fashion than to actually die of starvation, because that's literally torture, man. You're going days upon days, weeks upon weeks without food or water. You know, that's torture, man. I read it again, Lamentations 4 and 9. "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for one of the fruits of the field." You see, yeah, and what's consuming those fields? That locust, man. You know, you go back to the article. According to the FAO, the world is facing one of the worst infestations of locusts in decades, and that could put millions of people, especially Africa, but of course you got our people over there in Africa as well. You got kids over there sprinkled in amongst the Hamites, but essentially Africa is what? That's the name of the hand. The hand was Africa, so-called African Hamites. It says especially
America at risk of starvation. Most God allow you to die in the way of starvation, man. That's a very cruel punishment. It's a very cruel and terrible way to go out, man. And millions of people are at risk during the year in the year of prophecy, man. So this is heavy information, and the Lord is doing a mighty work in the earth.